Good Monday afternoon, Houston. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Kim Castro. We are going to have a big weather change to talk about. Remember last week we had all those storms that actually kept temperatures pretty mild. This week's going to be completely different. Today is your last day to fully enjoy the mild weather. This weekend was gorgeous, comfortable, a little chilly at times even. There's no humidity, a couple passing showers here or there, but it really made for a beautiful Mother's Day. I hope everybody enjoyed. This afternoon looks really similar so far. 77 degrees right now at Bush Intercontinental Airport. We are 1 degree warmer than yesterday. Dew points are still in the 50s, so that's nice and mild. And the breeze is coming in out of the west, which is a nice dry breeze. Now, because we are under mostly sunny skies, there is one thing to note for today. Clear sunshine makes for an added chemical reaction at the surface. So all of the regular pollutants that we get, otherwise known as volatile organic compounds, like from the exhaust of our cars, from facilities, factories, the emissions, that just creates a little added ground level ozone when there are no clouds out there or no wind to kind of mix that around. So for that reason, if you do have asthma or respiratory issues, try and limit the amount of time that you spend outside, especially time that you would be exercising, for example, that you might have to breathe in the excess of that ozone. And that warning is for Harris, Brazoria, and Galveston counties. So if you live in Houston, that does affect you. And so the main time frame to avoid is going to be between 4 and 7 o'clock. That's when ozone peaks. That's when our high temperatures tend to peak too. So today we are going to get into the mid-80s. We'll be at 84 degrees by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, continuing to warm. The high today makes it up to 86 degrees. Between today and tomorrow, you can see there's a big change. And the reason for that is we have a big pattern switch. Tomorrow, high pressure really sets up shop. And it's going to do a number of things. First of all, it's going to crank up actual air temperatures, and it is going to kick up humidity too. So we go from 86 degrees today to 95 degrees for your Tuesday under mostly sunny skies. Again on Wednesday, even warmer. Now we're at 98. I can go ahead and just call this hot. That is going to be really toasty, especially for this time of year. It's going to feel like it's suddenly summer. So over the weekend, we had this low pressure system on top of us and pushing towards the east. That gave us a nice north breeze that kept things fairly mild, no humidity. It gave us a couple of isolated showers that passed through the area. That's gone, so that's moving off to the east. High pressure is taking its place, and notice it doesn't move even into next week. So now we're looking at Thursday of the following week. High pressure is still around, so if you just moved to Houston, it gets really hot here and it's going to get hot a little early this year. So May is looking warm. Why is Houston notorious for being pretty toasty? Well, because of these ingredients. We have the Gulf humidity. We've got high pressure systems that are fairly strong, and then sometimes they get stuck here. And then we also have, of course, the urban heat island effect. I'm going to break all of these down for you. So Gulf humidity, first and foremost, the Gulf has warm water and it has warm air above it. So whenever we usher in a breeze out of the Gulf, it drags all of that in here. Added moisture and some warm moisture at that. Pacific systems, for example, along the Pacific coast, there's water, so you get some moisture in there, but that's cold air. So they do not experience the kind of heat and humidity that Houston does. Notice palm trees right now are nice and still, so the Gulf breeze is not a factor today. In fact, wind is pretty light for today, and we saw it was out of the west at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. It's picked up just a little bit. Now it's a north breeze, which is even better. It's drier. For Houston, that's sitting at 12 miles an hour right now. The point is, there's no breeze coming in out of the Gulf for today. Notice where the wind comes from tomorrow. Straight up out of the Gulf. It is a south breeze and it is strong, okay? Sustained wind tomorrow is going to be at around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Those gusts, though, are going to get up to 25 miles an hour. So that is several hours that we're pumping in a lot of moisture and at a pretty high velocity. So there's a lot of air that's going to pump in from Galveston tomorrow that's going to take our fairly dry feeling today and replace it with a fairly humid feeling tomorrow. And guess what? We have that Gulf breeze coming to us repeatedly. So not just tomorrow, but into our Wednesday and our Thursday and our Friday. And so we're going to see big changes when it comes to the humidity this week. Dew points today are in the 50s, so it is still nice and comfortable. As we make that wind shift out of the Gulf, we're going to go into the 60s at least. I think a lot of us are going to get to the upper 60s and low 70s. So between humid to tropical feel tomorrow all the way through the weekend. So we're going to be talking about not just air temperatures, but feels like temperatures. Feels like takes into consideration that it's not just the heat on your skin, but it's the humidity on your skin too that makes it feel even hotter. So let's talk about the actual air temperatures first. So Houston is going to be in the mid to upper 90s throughout this week. So that's a snapshot at 3 o'clock on our Wednesday, 98 degrees in Houston. Look at the I-35 corridor, well into the triple digits. 104 for Austin, 107 for San Antonio. Eagle past 112 degrees. That is the actual air temperature. That is pretty shocking this early. This kind of heat is not normal by the average standards, so we're looking to break records. Tomorrow it'll be close, so we're forecasting a high of 95 degrees. The previous record is 94, so maybe we match the record, maybe we beat it. Wednesday and Thursday, high confidence that these records are going to get smashed because we're not talking about a degree or two above the record. We're forecasting 98 degrees, so closer to the triple digits, which would be unusual for this time of year. Record keeping takes us back to about 30 years, and so we use the average temperatures for the month of May, and we're going to be well above that. Now factoring in the humidity, because Southeast Texas does have to consider the Gulf moisture, and it's going to feel like the triple digits across the area. So it's going to feel like 103 for Houston. It'll feel like at least the century mark for Rosenberg, for El Campo, Bryan College Station, Brenham. It's going to feel like 105 degrees. So we've talked about the Gulf humidity. We've talked about the high pressure systems. Now let's talk about the urban heat island effect. So because Houston is a big city, big buildings, those absorb all of that solar radiation during the day and they hold onto it. And at nighttime, they release it on the ground. So it's different if you were in a rural area with a lot of vegetation. It doesn't absorb all of that solar radiation. Think of an asphalt or, the park. If you have that turf that's black, that hold on to a lot of heat. It's the same thing with the materials that these buildings are made of. So during the overnight hours, we're significantly warmer than we would be, say, if we were in a field or a farm or something like that. Average low temperature, 67 degrees for this time of year. We're going to be about 10 degrees warmer than that. 77, that is going to be your starting point, your coolest point in the night. That is pretty warm. Get used to it. The outlook, at least through next week, like I showed you, through Thursday, March 22nd, shows that above average temperatures are expected for Southeast Texas. Houston included in that deepest red with high confidence for above average temperatures. That extends all along the Gulf Coast, so even into Florida. If you're looking for relief from the heat, go out west. So it looks like maybe Nevada, maybe Arizona, New Mexico, those might be some spots that you have a little getaway to if you don't want it to be so hot so soon. 7-day forecast looks like this. So yeah, today is still very nice and mild. That high temperature only makes it up to 86 degrees. We're under mostly sunny skies, so don't forget, if you do have any respiratory issues like asthma, or your allergies have just been bugging you, pollen on top of some excess ground level ozone, not a good combination. So it's just going to irritate your throat, your eyes, your nose. So that's why maybe you don't spend too much time outside. Perhaps you do, instead of an outdoor run, you do a run on your treadmill. Tomorrow, yeah, it's going to be hard for us to think about any outdoor activities under this heat. 95 degrees, and then we keep getting hotter because look, tomorrow we're starting off at 66, so that's not that bad. The afternoon is hot, and then Wednesday morning is pretty hot, 75. Then we get into the upper 90s. Wednesday and Thursday, actual air temperatures are getting close to the triple digits. Notice, even though we see a slight drop in high temperatures, it's still really warm through the end of the work week into the weekend. Make sure you are staying hydrated, Houston. If we break any records, we will send those alerts to your phone. Have a great week and stay cool.